not helping me. No, you're not. I'm still in church clothes because, it's Sunday night and I've gotten everybody in the bed early, which is a miracle. But that is thanks to the wonderful thing called daylight savings time. So, what I do for about as long as I can is we live by the old time at night and the new time in the morning. That way you go to bed. You go to bed early. Yes, we all see you and you're not asleep. You go to bed early and get up late. Or that's like the theory. It doesn't really work. But it is helpful for getting people to bed. Hey, Julie. I made it on time. I mean, seriously. So if you haven't gotten your children to bed, you've forgotten to use daylight savings time. No, so this afternoon, that's not me snoring. That's Amos's service dog, Honor. She's snoring. Yes, she is. She's so tired. We had a regular day, went to church, or went to breakfast in Sunday school. Then I went to church. I know. I did a supporter video early this morning, my first live from Little Rock. And hey, Leanne. And so, but this afternoon, I had put up this thing about Amos at church. And, when you have a child with special needs, which I talk about a lot. I haven't as much lately. I just get off on other tangents like Hilaria Baldwin and stuff like that. But everything you do is different. So even going to church breakfast means that we got Amos in shoes, but when we got there, he was like, take my shoes off. I was like, we have to eat breakfast before you take them off. So then he'd taken his shoes off, and then he goes in the nursery, and then he gets out of the nursery, and then the nice girls in the nursery are like, is he okay? I'm teaching Sunday school, and he roams the church or the parish hall. He goes and visits different Sunday school classes. He comes back, then he wants to get in the car so we can leave. I'm like, no, it's not time to leave. Because today at church we made a thankful tree. So everybody talked about I have kindergarten or 3 second grades. And everybody talked about what they were thankful for. And I said, Amos, what are you thankful for? And he said, church and friends. Now, he wouldn't write it on the paper, but he said church and friends. And that was great. But anyway, nobody really bats an eye at church. They're like, Amos, no shoes on, barefoot in the churchyard. It's cold. And we just kind of roll with it, right? That is just a normal existence for us. But I got this comment tonight, and it's totally stopped me in my tracks, which is rare for that to happen. And the person said, that must be really hard to raise a child with autism. I can't even imagine. I thank God every day that my child is healthy. And it's like a sucker punch, right? I mean, I felt like I was sucker punched. And so then I think, okay, how do I address that? How do I go back and think about my own feelings? Really, before I had a baby or a child with special needs, I used to hope that they would be healthy, and did I know what healthy was? Maybe not. But I think it's, I answered back and said, I'm really thankful that Amos is healthy, and I wouldn't trade him for any other little boy in the world. And it's true. And yes, it's hard. But he's healthy. And I think years ago when I was really struggling with him, being different than my other children, and I was, scared. And I knew, though, I had this little boy, and he was different, but he was healthy. Where I lost my only sibling who was healthy for 19 years and then got a terrible cancer and died. So cancer, yes, that is terrible. Autism or special needs are not. And I hope that I do a good job. And I have so many friends like Kate of Finding Cooper's Voice, Carrie, I mean, just lots of friends that write about this. And I hope we're presenting a picture that, like, yeah, it can be hard, but it's super great. Yeah, but I have a feeling I might have been like her. I don't think it's a place to come at and blame. I have to wonder what kind of picture do I present? And for me, presenting honesty and joy and the real picture, maybe it looks, maybe it does look bad. But I will tell you, there are things with my other children that are super hard too. And they don't have, special needs, but it's super hard. And there's no promise that you're going to be the way you are your whole life. We just never know what happens. And oftentimes I think, what if something happened to Amos today and he were gone? Or my other children? Am I using today in the best way I can? And my dad, who loved a son who was typical forever and then died, years later, he said to me, my one regret is that I wish I hadn't worried about his weight. My brother was chubby, chubby, chubby when he was little, but then he was 6'4" and thin. But he was like such a waste of time. In hindsight, he's thinking, gosh, I could have been doing something else, with him. And I think that now. Tonight I put Amos in the tub. I lay down with him to go to sleep. He's almost 8 years old. I'm never getting to the point where everybody is gone or everybody's at a spend the night or everybody's at camp. Like, that is not my truth. And that's okay. It's okay. It's okay. And I just want you to know, if there's anybody out there that really wonders, like, I'm in a good place. We are in a good place. Abby, if you like the videos, I have a supporter program, which is $5 a month, which we've decided is half of a McDonald's Happy Meal, since we spent $30 there for dinner, because that's the kind of people we are. And we do lots of live videos, maybe 5 a week, that oftentimes involve husbands and errant children, which is good entertainment. And we pick topics and talk about them. Yesterday we did a supporter video with Seton Tucker about the Murdochs. And autism is obviously a topic that is important to me, because I'm still learning about it myself. Empty nesting is brutal. Yeah, so that's a topic we would be like, okay, we're going to talk about what that's like. I tell you, as your kids get older, you just think, oh my gosh, like in the last 10 years ago, let's say 8 years ago. 8 years ago, I had a newborn, a 7-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 4-year-old. And 8 years ago. And in 8 more years, I'm going to have a 15, 19, 21, and 23. I mean, it's insane. So I don't want to miss any of that. And yes, be thankful for what you have and who you have and the wonderment of it all. But don't ever think that what somebody else has is lesser than what you have, because it might be even better than what you have. I will say, I definitely feel like I've been given the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. I've just learned so much with Amos and loving him. I can't imagine who I would be without him. And his purpose in life is to not teach other people things. He is his own person. He is his own wonderful person, created and awesome. But he makes our family better. And I think our family makes him better. And I love him like all my other children. I just do. How else would I have his service dog who is sleeping with her mommy because she said, I think you're anxious. She was in bed with Amos, and she thought I might come down here and give her some fish that we cooked. Anyway, that's just a little Sunday night. Not supposed to be a lecture, but just, be thinking about it. Be thinking about it. And supporters, we'll see you tomorrow morning, Monday morning. Mondays, we have to drink coffee and laugh a little bit. Y'all have a good night.